welcome back or welcome to In Our Lane. I am your host, Emmeisha. You can follow me everywhere at EMMEISHA and make sure you follow the podcast at underscore In Our Lane. Hold on, let me get myself together, y'all. Okay, so now it's time to get into the topic of the day. And I am trying to find the balance between sharing my experiences without stepping on anyone's toes because I have a podcast where I come on here and I share my personal experiences. I share how I feel about the world around me and everything that's going on. And I try to give my personal opinions and insight on certain topics. And I just feel like when I'm pulling from my personal experiences and I'm sharing my story, I feel like I can't help but to bring up things that other people may not be so open to discussing. And I'm trying to figure out that balance between how can I share my experience, how can I share my feelings and what I'm going through without it messing up my relationship with other people because I went through another friendship breakup and it stemmed from something that I said on this podcast. And I just personally feel like I couldn't really do anything about the situation because that person felt how they felt. And it was nothing that I could say. It was nothing that I can do to change how that person felt about me because they felt like I was talking about them. And I just feel like now I really am talking about this one particular person, about this one particular experience. But it's never in my intention to come on my podcast to talk about my friends. It's never in my intentions to make my friends out to be a bad person. Like, it's never in my intention to share my story to try to make somebody else look bad. I'm just literally sharing my experience, how it happened to me in my eyes. And I am trying to figure out like how can I talk about certain things? How can I bring certain, situations up without stepping on people's toes and making people feel like I'm being messy or I'm talking about them or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how can I not, like, I have to talk about things. Like, I just have to share my experience and my opinions on certain topics. And I just feel like if you're in my life and if you love me, then you understand what I got going on. You understand that this requires me to talk. This requires me to share. And I just hate that by me opening up and sharing my story, the people who are a part of that story feel some type of way about me sharing my side of the story. I don't know. I just hope that I just bring people around. I meet people in the future who understands my career path and understand that it's not malicious. So I'm just still in that area where I'm just like, what to say, what not to say, like, what can I share, what can't I share, like, cause I've never came on here and just was like airing out somebody's personal information. Like, I've never, oh, excuse me, in my opinion, I never tried to make any one of my friends look bad. But I just feel like it's kind of unrealistic for someone to expect me to not be truthful on my podcast, it's like, how can I, like, I wouldn't have a podcast if I wasn't, if, like, what would the podcast be? Like, I guess if it was a more like an educational podcast, or like a podcast that talked on us, like a certain, like a sci-fi podcast or something like that, or like I did, like went into detail about like different crimes, and so I'm like really reading documents and stuff like that, maybe that'll be a little bit different. But that's not what this podcast is. And I don't know, I feel weird because I find myself not putting certain topics on the outline to talk about because it has something to do with someone else, and I don't know how that person feels, if that person wants me to share the story, or if the person will be okay with me truthfully telling how I honestly feel. And that's the thing. I just feel like sometimes I come on here and I'm venting and I'm talking and I'm just getting my thoughts together about certain things, and I haven't necessarily talked to the person about how I'm feeling. So if they watch the show, then that might be their first time really hearing me express how I feel about a certain situation, and they probably just had no clue that I was feeling that way. And I could see how that could, you know, be an issue, but I just feel like if you really gonna be my friend, or you gonna really just be whoever you are in my life, you gonna have to understand that I'm gonna have those conversations. I'm gonna have to just be truthful and honest and just be open on my podcast. And loving, a part of loving me is understanding what I do, and knowing that if I ever do say something that makes you feel uncomfortable, that you can come and talk to me. But you coming to talk to me is not you telling me, it's either you don't do this or we can't be friends no more. And I just feel like that's crazy for somebody to ask me, or to insinuate, or to feel like I have to change my podcast and what I got going on because of them. And I just feel like that's not right. I feel like, how can you, I don't know. I just feel like, how can you expect somebody to change how they been doing what they been doing before they met you because you feel some type of way? I don't know. I just feel like that's a huge expectation that I'm not gonna be able to meet, and that's just the real. I just feel like if anybody wanna be cool with me, you gonna have to understand that I'm gonna be on my podcast popping my shit. I'm gonna be on my podcast telling my truth. And I just feel like if you really fuck with me for real, then you would understand that, and you're not gonna really take what I say to heart. And I just feel like I generalize a lot of things. It's some cases where when I'm talking about a specific person, I say their name. Or if I'm talking about a specific group of people, I'm going to, you know, if I want to tell you who they are, I'm going to say it. But I don't. I use a lot of days, and I don't really say he or she sometimes. I kind of like watch what I be saying, and I really do make an effort to where it's like, if someone is watching this, you can't really tell who I'm talking about unless you know who I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, at the end of the day, I just feel like it's not that deep. And but I'm also aware that I have a responsibility, and to my friends and to my family and to people that I come in contact with, that I don't make them feel uncomfortable, and they feel like they can be themselves around me and don't feel like, oh, I'm gonna go run on my podcast and tell all their business type stuff. And so I'm just trying to figure out how I want to move about that, and just get in a place where I'm comfortable to be 100% vulnerable and honest with you all, and come on here and just, you know, tell my side of the story. And I feel like I created this platform for me to be able to tell my side, to tell my view. And most of the time when I talk really a lot is when I have solo episodes. When I don't have solo episodes, I don't really talk about me personally that much. I really gear the conversation more towards the other person. And in that conversation, I might share some personal experiences because we're having conversation. And that's just how conversation go. When you're getting to know somebody and you're talking to them, you're going to say, oh, when I experienced that, this happened and da 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 da. And just because I'm talking about that situation, I'm not trying to air out the other person that was involved in that experience of mine. I'm just trying to tell my side of the story. And so yeah, that's what I've been going through, and I haven't had anyone else come up to me thus far about how they feel about, me and what I talk about on the podcast, but that doesn't mean that someone doesn't feel a way because I may have mentioned something or talking about something that triggered them or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like if you don't tell me, how I'm supposed to know? And if you do come to me and you ask me, was this about me, or was this about when we did X, Y, and Z? I will be honest with you and I will tell you, yes, I was referring to that situation. Yes, I was referring to you. Or no, I wasn't. I was actually talking about this person, or I was talking about this situation. Or sometimes, like when I be, saying stuff or explaining stuff, it might not even be something that I did. Maybe it was something that I witnessed someone else do. Like, I don't know. It's just like I just want people to be a little bit more open and give me a little grace and allow me to be me and allow me to come on my podcast and be as free as I possibly can, because it's already hard to, sit down and think about what I want to talk about and curate what the conversation is going to be for that day. So on top of that, you also want me to make sure that I don't include anything that got to do with you, or make sure I don't say anything that could potentially make you feel like I could be possibly talking about you. It's crazy to me. Like, I just feel like that's too much pressure. That's a lot of pressure. The pressure is getting worse. But anyway, so that's what I wanted to talk about. So, yeah, let's talk about it. Being hard on myself. And so that's another thing, is just like I feel like I am hard on myself. So I'm already always double checking and looking at this little detail and not liking this and nitpicking every little thing. And then you coming to me, I'm thinking I done created a masterpiece, or at least did the best that I could. And now you coming to me saying X, Y, and Z. And now it's making me feel even more insecure and making me feel like, I'm not doing something else right. And it's like I'm trying to get out of that point in my life where it's like I'm being hard on myself and I'm always just being not nice to myself. Because at the end of the day, I have to constantly remind myself that I am resilient. It's like every time life be lifing and it knocks me down, and I get back up every single time, 10 times harder. And that's just period. And everybody, if you've been watching me for years, you can see that over time. You can see where I started from and where I am today. And I just know that I'm going to continuously shock myself and just continuously, get better over time. So yeah, like I gotta stop being hard on myself. And I feel like me being hard on myself stemmed from me not wanting to be a disappointment. Like, I just feel like all my life I just wanted to do the right thing. I just feel like I always wanted to, you know, follow the rules. I believe I talked about this before, about me being a rule follower. And I just feel like I just always want to do the right thing. I just feel like at the end of the day, when I lay my head down, I want to be able to relax and say I did everything that I was supposed to do, how I was supposed to do it. But I also need to be realistic and understand that I'm not perfect and I will never be perfect, and that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall down. It's about what you do when you fall down. Do you get back up, or do you just lie there and wait for somebody else to come and pat you on your back and rub you and wipe your tears? Or are you going to be the person who going to pat your own back, dry your own tears, and get up and keep moving forward? And I just want to be that person, not saying that I don't need nobody, because I do. And I have learned that I do need to lean more on my village, because what I had said, yeah, I need to lean more on my village, because that's what they're there for. They're there to support me, and my village, they have not let me down. But it's just like when you're in the middle of it, when you're going through it, it's harder. What is the saying? It's easier said than done. But yeah, like I just feel like I could accomplish anything. I can, do anything I put my mind to. And I gotta stop being hard on myself and stop being so like nitpicky about every little thing. I feel like I have the skill of attention to detail. And I feel like people who have the skill of attention to detail, you understand where I'm coming from, because it's like when your eye is trained to have things a certain way when they're not, it kind of like messes you up a little bit. So it's like if you know that something is supposed to be a certain way, it's natural for you to go and tweak it a little bit. It's natural for you to just let me fix it right quick, because that's not how it's supposed to be. But I'm starting to learn that it's okay, and I'm not gonna get it right all the time. And all I gotta do is just learn from that and try to make sure that next time I don't continuously make the same mistakes, and I don't continuously, you know, just do little stuff that I'm trying to not do. So yeah, like for example, when I had got laid off last year, I was so down and out, and talked about this a little bit on a previous episode, about like how I felt so down and I felt so bad about myself and just the situation and everything. But then now in hindsight, I'm looking back at it, it's like my bills still got paid. I never missed a bill. I ate. I never went hungry. And I just, like when I was going through, I just felt so bad. But I also have to realize that I pick myself up, and instead of feeling like, oh, uh, whatever, instead of feeling like that, I started delivering for Amazon. And although that wasn't like the dream job, and although that wasn't like my ideal situation, I still, did what I had to do, and I made it work. And so eventually, like during that time, I was just applying, going interview after interview, no after no after no. I just knew that something was, eventually all of these no's would turn into a yes. And I realized the reason why I kept getting no is because I was just applying. Like I was just like, whoever was hiring, I sent in an application. And the reason why I kept getting rejected is because my heart posture wasn't right. I was just trying to find some money. And I just feel like when you do that, that's when it just don't be working out for me personally. When I just think about, oh, this how much money I'm gonna make. Okay, let me apply. Instead, it wasn't until a job opportunity presented itself for me to become a teacher. And I'm like, I feel like that could be a part of my calling because, I feel like I'm a great role model for young people. And I feel as if that God may be trying to, get me to, help someone who was like me when I was their age. I don't know. It's just everything happens for a reason, and I'm a constantly be my worst critic, and um that's hard, being your worst critic and always pointing out the negative and stuff like that. Like, I notice that I do that a lot when it comes down to like the pictures that I post and like when I'm editing the footage after I done sat here and recorded all this time and I'm looking back at it, I'm like, oh, why I was sitting that way, or why my, hair looked like that, or I could have did this better to my eyebrows or something, or whatever the case may be. I'm always like nitpicking at the little details, and I'm trying to not be so hard on myself when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I just need to, give myself a little grace and be nice to myself because, at the end of the day, I'm just human. I'm out here trying to do my best with what I got. And that's just that on that. So, who child? Let's keep it moving. Cause yeah, I just I don't know, y'all. So whenever you find yourself being hard on yourself, I would just say, remember that no one is perfect. We all make mistakes, and that you woke up. God gave you another day to try again. He gave you another day to pivot and to, see how you can go about things a little bit differently. I feel like every day is a new opportunity to be better than you were the day before. And so I'm just constantly just reminding myself of that whenever I get into one of my little moods and I'm doing too much. I got to remember, relax, breathe, it's okay. And one thing I'm going to do is take a nap because I'm not finna stress myself out no more. Not happening. Okay, so places to go. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so places to go, things to do. So I went to Miami for spring break. Was that spring break? Yes, I believe it was. I went to Miami for spring break, and y'all, I've been outside. I got 2 more trips coming up. This week, and then another one at the end of July before I go back to work. And it's like, I'm so excited for that cruise. I'll tell y'all all about that when I get back. But back to Miami. Miami. I feel like I didn't really like turn up that much. So I went to the Friday concert and that was cool. I had backstage pass. And it was nice. It was really nice. The Friday concert was really nice. I had a good time. Miami was cool. It's hot, of course. And I don't know, just went on the beach, got in the water. I really didn't get to explore as much as I wanted to simply because it was more so of a business trip for my significant other. So it was more like he was just working and I was just there tagging along. And I know now that I don't want to tag along to work trips anymore. I just realized that if I'm on vacation, I want to be on vacation. I don't want to be on a work trip where I'm just tagging along and I don't have nothing to do with it. You see what I'm saying? I'm just there, an innocent bystander. I didn't like that because I wanted to be able to go when I wanted to go, do what I want to do. But it was like we was on other people's time, and I don't like being on other people's time. And then it's like the people that we was with, it was just some stuff that they was doing. I was just like, I don't know nobody out here, and y'all out here, catching attitudes with random people. Got people hopping out cars, and y'all acting like y'all finna fight. I don't got time for that. But yeah, our hotel was really, really nice. I really enjoyed it. The breakfast downstairs was chef's kiss. What else? But yeah, the trip was really short. I've been to Miami before, for a girls trip, and I definitely talked about that before. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. I don't remember what episode that was, but I do remember telling y'all about my first Miami trip. And the second Miami trip, it was okay. I was just really chilling. I was happy that I got to go to, what's that, Bayside? Yeah, Bayside. That was cool. The little mall, like, restaurant area. I guess that's what you could call it, a pavilion, whatever. They had stores and restaurants right on the water. Got on a Ferris wheel. We went to, what is it called? Bacon Bitch might get their own places to go, things to do. Hold on 1 second. We went to Bacon Bitch, and it was so nice in there. They really do call you a bitch, and I loved it. The food was good. What did I have? I think I had the salmon sliders. Don't get me the line. Salmon burger. Or was that? I think that's what I had. And some fries. The drink was really good. Got a little tipsy out for the drink. So I wasn't mad at that. What else did I get the fair? I mentioned the Ferris wheel already. And yeah, it was just a real cool, chill, quick little Miami trip, nothing major. But I definitely want to be outside in Miami. Like, I still ain't experienced Miami for real. I just feel like I just have went to Miami, and got to go on the beach in Miami and just do a little bit stuff. But I just feel like I haven't really experienced Miami for real. I really haven't had a fun, lit, turn up type situation in Miami. So I definitely got to go back to Miami pretty soon. So if you know any good spots to check out in Miami, let me know down in the comments, because sis needs some ideas. So yeah, I'm gonna take a quick little break and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back. All right. I left off at Emmeisha's watch list. Okay, so I just recently got into the whole College Hill Celebrity Edition, right? And this season is really funny. Carlos Miller is on there. We got Santana on there. We got Tamar Braxton on there. Who else we got? They had a whole Black China, but she goes by her original name, Angel or Angela, something like that. Anywho, please forgive me for getting that lady name wrong. But the whole cast is dope. And when I tell you, Carlos Miller be having me weak, y'all. Carlos is funny. So he was talking to their counselor or whatever about how school has been going, and he was like, I knew it was gonna be hard, but this shit extra crispy, and I about died. I was like, this man, he's like always the person in class that is the opposite of how everybody else feels. Like, he always is the person who doesn't go with everyone else is going with, and he always, like, I just like how he makes it funny and makes like it interesting. But yeah, everyone is on the show. I love the fact that they did a good job at all of the different people, because it's hilarious. You just gotta watch it to see it. College Hill Celebrity Edition is dope. Okay, so Yeah, ask Misha. I need y'all to send in your questions. I need you guys because this part is about y'all. I can give you some advice. I can, let you know a little bit more about me because you don't have to send in a letter telling me about your business and I give you my opinion about it. You can just ask me something about myself that you want to know. So that's just something to think about. Just DM at underscore in our lane and I got you. Okay, so stay in your lane and be still. And being still and doing nothing is two different things. And so for me, that means that when I'm being still, I'm just focusing on my surroundings and just focusing on my breathing and just being present in the moment and just being thankful for where I am at that time. Because I feel like so much stuff be going on and it's like we see the goal, but we're not quite there yet. And so I just feel like when you're still and you are appreciating every moment along the way, I feel like it's easier for you to continue to move forward. And when I said being still and doing nothing is two different things because I feel like when you hear be still, you might think that means don't do anything. You might think that means like just be quiet. No. You still need to continue to put one foot in front of the other and make moves, but also just relax and just enjoy the moment for what it is. All right, y'all. So that's it for today. Today's a little bit shorter than the others, but it's okay because I gotta stay on time here in the studio and I want to make sure I get at least one more episode recorded while I'm here today. Is there anything else I wanted to mention? Oh yes, Afrofest Atlanta is coming up. I will be there on the podcast stage. I still have a few free tickets to come see me. And yeah, so if you want one, make sure you follow the In Our Lane podcast page. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and then DM me when you're done and I'll send you the link to get your ticket. Once again, I am Emmeisha. You can follow me everywhere at EMMEISHA. And you can follow the podcast at underscore in our lane. Bye.